I'm just enjoying the atmosphere in this moment. I want to do something a little different at the beginning of our time together. I want to ask you to do something besides just listen. When you think of the word garden or 창원, what images, feelings, and thoughts arise? So I want you to just take a moment or two to think about 창원, garden. Close your eyes if you'd like, and without trying, just see what emerges. 줬습니까? Well, in a few minutes you'll see why I asked you this question. I think most of you know that we moved into our new house on Wednesday, just 5 days ago. And from 8 a.m. in the morning, it was pretty hectic all day long. Sometimes questions coming from several people at once. So basically, we were on our feet all day long. About 7:30 that evening, Eugen and I had not yet had dinner, but we were planning to go out for dinner. And he was out planting the plants that Sunny had lovingly dug up the day on Monday that we left Joyville. And instinctively, without particularly thinking about it, I started creating a sanctuary space in our living room. From the first time that we were thinking seriously about this house, we wanted to arrange it in such a way that the sanctuary space in Eugen's and my home in Joyville could be refashioned in Seoul. But our things were everywhere and quite mixed up. So it was difficult to find many things because they were just piled together. But I found enough to make quite a lovely sanctuary in our living room. And then we went out to eat. The next morning, Eugen woke up earlier than me, which is very unusual. And he sat in that sanctuary space for 2 hours before I even got up. So by the time I was awake, he was very happy to let me have our favorite chair so I could enjoy that sanctuary space. There's several large windows overlooking the mountains and with trees and even flowering vine. And I had placed in this one large picture window right in front several of our house plants. And very shortly after I sat in this chair looking, I was surprised to feel such an exquisite garden. Quiet. I could hear birds singing. And this is very close to the heart of Seoul. It was at least as beautiful as in our home in Joyville. As I often do, I had brought a volume of the Third Sacred School, a book for my meditation. And I like to use the attunement current. So holding the book with the pages like this, the book is closed, but I just feel where the most intense current is. And I go to that exact point and open. And this led me to a page that was astonishingly perfect. It was about maintaining the climate that allows the garden to flourish. In what you shared about the garden, you were touching into the deeper meaning of the garden, not just a physical garden. And this particular service that I had opened in the middle of it was called To Dress and Keep the Garden. I think probably most here and online know that in the Bible, in Genesis, it describes a garden planted eastward in Eden. And mankind was put there to dress and keep it. So dressing it means to give it form. And eastward refers to the future, like the sun rises in the east. So what that means is eastward is that which is in heaven but hasn't yet taken form in the earth. That which is invisible that has not yet become visible. The reason we were put in the garden was to bring the seeds of heaven into form on earth. And that requires a climate in us that welcomes heaven's seeds, actually protects them as they grow, cares for them. The garden is actually a very simple metaphor, but it refers to the magic of divine technology that can create heaven on earth. For thousands of years, people have been trying, but they have not created heaven, have they? So this symbol of the garden for many years has intrigued me. Secret code입니다. It's like a secret code. Is that okay? 비밀 code. That is hinting at our purpose and how we can accomplish it. So sitting in this space in abundant beauty, so quiet, and being led by heaven to this particular page, I was in bliss. And really, I didn't expect that on the first day after we moved into our home. Actually, many weeks ago, when we were considering moving to Seoul, I had sensed that one part of heaven's compulsion that was bringing us here is to build an oasis, a garden. Because the people who are living in Seoul, that includes you, and a lot of stress, so that you and others might begin to touch this garden. But really, I wondered, how can we do that? Before we decided on the house we moved into, well, I asked several friends, will you visit us? Because it's up a very long, steep, narrow road, and then at the very top you still have a lot of steps to our house. And actually, of the friends I asked, about half of them said, not very often. So really, I was worried. But Chung Gil-sun gave us rattan furniture, several pieces, and a parasol. And I began to sense it might be possible to create an oasis that was attractive enough that people would make that long climb. So as I sat in this beautiful sanctuary space Thursday morning, I realized that because of stress, probably people living in Seoul need the experience of the garden even more than those in Jeju, maybe more than in many parts of the world. We need to touch the beauty and peace of the garden in some way and regularly. I recommend every day, because we need the sensate memory of bliss in the garden to be able to handle the pressures that come with wisdom and ease. When pressures come, a very tangible, real connection with that garden helps us stay in our true position. And that's why in our first seminar, we teach people how to do sanctification and recommend they do it every day. So I want you to come to our garden when it's ready, but it's not the only place where you can touch the bliss of the garden. Eugen and I are beginning to discover there are a number of places in Seoul where you can touch that. We took a walk by the stream Hongjaecheon Friday evening, and there are places where it's far enough away from main roads that you don't even hear the traffic. And we could see on the faces of the people walking there, they were touching something of the garden. The garden is not just a physical setting. It's a climate, an atmosphere, a state of consciousness that allows us to connect with heaven. Without the right climate, heaven's seeds cannot grow. Or if they start to grow, and then the climate becomes harsh, the seeds die. Sashalin, truly, actually. There are many seeds just waiting in heaven, waiting for the right climate in us so that they can come into the earth and grow. But they need the right climate. And that climate is mainly what's in our mind and heart. Now, most people can experience bliss resting in a beautiful garden. But what happens when pressures come? Well, I had some practice with that too.